Hello and welcome, my Virgo friends. This is Jennifer from Mystic Star. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today and watching this video. This is going to be a group reading for October's Mercury Retrograde for my Virgo friends. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we just exited a Mercury Retrograde and here we go, heading straight into another one. On the good side, this is the last Mercury Retrograde of 2019. Yay! I'm not going to go into depth into what Mercury retrograde is. There's a lot of fantastic websites that can go into depth into what it is scientifically, the effects, the impact, that kind of stuff. What I really want to focus in on is how Mercury retrograde is going to impact you, and focus really on how you can overcome some of these things. It's great to know that it's there. However, how can you kind of overcome some of these challenges? We cannot stop how Mercury retrograde impacts the world and impacts those around us. However, we can really control how we respond and how we can cope with Mercury retrograde. The deck I chose for this reading is the Tarot de la Nuit, which is Tarot of the Night, and I'm going to end the session off with a blessing from the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. Like always, there are links below to both these fantastic decks, so should they speak to you, you can go check them out for yourselves. Alright, my Virgo friends, see what the cards have to say today. What card symbolizes Mercury retrograde for my Virgo friends? It's a beautiful card, the Three of Pentacles. Threes are about expression and growth. Pentacles are about that growth and abundance. The Three of Pentacles talks about trade and mastery and working as a group. What's going to really be struggling or a challenge for you, and you're going to struggle with, my Virgo friends, is that group work relationship. You're going to find that things are a bit harder in your skill or trade. Over the next 3 weeks, you're going to find that you're really going to be impacted by Mercury retrograde in that team environment, in working with others, and communication, as that's what Mercury retrograde really impacts. So let's look at that first week of Mercury retrograde. What can my Virgo friends expect for that first week of Mercury retrograde? That's the Seven of Swords. Sevens are all about that challenge, yet victory. Swords about truth and knowledge. Now the Seven of Swords, historically, Pamela Coleman Smith drew this as a man who was stealing 5 swords from an enemy camp and leaving 2. This talks about trying to get away with more than what you should. Mercury retrograde will show everybody what you're trying to get away with. Do not try and get away with more than what you should, or try and finagle things, because what will happen is people will see the truth very quickly. Also, on the flip side, if people are trying to finagle you, or if situations arise and you have to question things, I would hyper question stuff, because other individuals may be trying to pull the wool over your eyes and getting away with more than what they should. Critical thinking skills will be very important that first week. Okay. We're going to have a middle card, because I'll show you the middle card first. And that's Death. That's the 13th card in the Major Arcana. As I was shuffling, talking about the first and thinking about the second, we have, we'll call it 1.5. So in the middle-ish of, in between the 1 and the 2, Death is going to be there. And death is not necessarily a bad thing. When you're looking at Mercury retrograde, you're going to see that the communication stuff is really going to be bogged down, but death is going to come in and start to clear out, not Mercury retrograde, but start to clear out some of the stuff that isn't working, and will help you see what's happening there. Okay? Death will also start to take things that you may not be ready to release and may bring up in your path. So you may be thinking that you're going to work on something in the future. Death may bring it to you faster than you expected. All right, let's look at the second week now. What does the second week of Mercury retrograde look like for my Virgo friends? The King of Swords. Kings are that fully developed personality. Swords about truth and knowledge. Now, knowledge is not going to be helpful for you. You're not going to remember things. You'll forget things intermittently. Death is going to be helpful in bringing up stuff that really isn't relevant, but death thinks you should work on it. You're going to have to find alternative measures for things that you used to remember. You're going to forget. Things that you should know, you're going to forget. Things are going to be a challenge that way. So you're going to need to find alternative coping mechanisms, writing things down, and I would even say that second week, you may even want pen and paper, go old school, because computers are also impacted by the Mercury retrograde. Sending yourself a message may get lost. It's really hard for Mercury retrograde to impact pen and paper. That writing might be a bit choppy, but you're going to be at least able to connect in with that. And let's finally look at the third week. What can my Virgo friends expect in the third week of Mercury retrograde? Okay. Got a few jumpers here for you. The cards have a lot to say today. So the first card is the Five of Pentacles. Fives are a conflictual number. Pentacles about that growth and abundance. You're going to find that the third week really brings home that isolation piece. You're going to feel like nobody's trying to connect in with you, and when they do connect in with you, that they're missing the mark, and you're really going to kind of feel alone in the third week. Another jumper that came with it was the Ace of Swords. Aces are a gift. Swords are all about truth and knowledge. You're going to find again that your knowledge is at kind of a flux. All 3 weeks have swords, and that information is going to be lost or misconstrued, and you're going to really need to, like I said, focus on other ways of retaining that knowledge. Also, because we're looking at the Ace of Swords, we're looking at that, an idea or a thought that you think is a really great idea may not be as great as you had once anticipated. Check in and critically think about that information. The next card that jumped, Three of Swords. Mercury retrograde is not a time to be thinking from our heart. It's going to be about taking that fact. Facts are going to be hard for you, so I won't lie, the next 3 weeks will be a bit of a challenge. That said, we learn the most from our challenges. And when we're challenged, we can really gain the skills and abilities to conquer more. Keep writing things down. Keep like a diary of sorts, if you will. Past stuff. We already had the devil who's going to be throwing, or the death that's going to be throwing crap up at you, going, oh, we're going to get rid of this. Here you go. That's going to still be in play, but those past hurts and emotions with the stuff that death is going to be picking out in the 1.5 weeks, in the middle-ish of 1 and 2, that pain will come up. The reason we struggle so much with the Suit of Swords, it's the emotion we've attached to the experiences that really bring hardship and really try us. Okay, now that we've gone through this really happy time and phase of the reading, we're going to go on to how we can overcome some of these challenges. I know it's not fun to dive into what the nitty-gritty of that shadow space, but the light can be very helpful now. What can my Virgo friends do to overcome the challenges of the first week of Mercury retrograde? It's the Angel de la Nuit, the angel of the night. Every now and then, different tarot decks will create specific cards just for their deck, or deck-specific cards, and that's what has happened here. Tarot de Nuit talks about the angel of the night coming from the darkness and into the light. A big piece of this, with everybody trying to get everything, like trying to get away with stuff, you're trying to get away with stuff, there's lots of competition and problems in the workplace, is that you really need to check into that light piece. Come at situations from a point of light and love to declutter this and to try and get through this. And especially as death is coming through it and deciding to do some house cleaning, really kind of check into stuff from that light aspect. Come out of the dark and into the light. Let's look at the second week. What can my Virgo friends do to overcome the challenges of the second week of Mercury retrograde? It's the Seven of Cups. Sevens are about challenge yet victory. Cups about intuition and emotion. The Seven of Cups is known as the seven deadly sins, or an illusion card. You're going to have to use your heart to overcome the challenges of the king. Like I said before, you're going to have a challenge trying to remember things. Things are going to, that you know, and you know, and they're at the tip of your tongue. You're going to struggle to get off and trying to remember. You're going to have to find creative and unique ways using that creative intuition. We still will have intuition. We'll still have the ability to communicate. That creative intuition to overcome those challenges. What's going to work for you? And what you may find corny and hadn't worked in the past may work now. Let's look at the third week. How can my Virgo friends overcome the challenges of the third week of Mercury retrograde? And that's Justice. Justice is a balance card. She is the 11th card in the major arcana, and she talks about truth and knowledge and balance. She's what the justice system is based off of. That truth and knowledge will be very important. Like I said, critical thinking skills here. That black and white thinking will help to get over Mercury retrograde. Balancing your life out, because Mercury retrograde shifts the energy and sends out a lot of chaotic, sporadic energy. Making sure you're coming out of situations from a balanced and cognitive black and white aspect is going to really be helpful. Oh, and before I forget, I've been advised that I have missed the double sevens. You've got the Seven of Cups and then also the Seven of Pentacles, or sorry, Seven of Swords here. When you've got double sevens like that, the angel messages that you're on the right track. You have to just keep going. We can't stop Mercury retrograde. You just have to keep going. Keep trying. Don't give up. Try those creative ways to remember things, which is also going to help as life goes on to have alternative ways to remember and create that space and environment to retaining more knowledge. How can my Virgo friends overcome those challenges and hardships that Mercury retrograde will pose? What's going to really help you out is the Page of Cups. Pages are that childlike, fun, playful, inquisitive energy. They're fantastic. Don't get too bogged down in this. I know that's easier said than done, but don't get too bogged down. Have some fun. Get into that intuitional creativity and go to town. Making sure and checking your emotions, because the child likes to tantrum. Making sure that you're checking your emotions. We already said that the relationships at work are going to be a little bit of a challenge. But that playful fun, that inquisitive energy will really help you. Now, pages are the 11th card in the minor arcana. We have the 11th card in the major arcana. When you're dealing in angel messages with the 11, you've got a master number here. You need to listen to your deeper intuition, especially since we've got that cup. That intuition is going to help. Intuition will help let you know something's up. Intuition will let you know how to try and figure out a creative way to solve some of this knowledge and emotion buildup that you're going to have. What further information do my Virgo friends need to know about Mercury retrograde? The Five of Swords. Fives are all about that conflict and struggle. Swords are about truth and knowledge. This may be a challenge for you, I won't lie. Using that knowledge and your playful intuition will help. It will help you overcome things. You can do this. We all have. We've gone through many Mercury retrogrades. It's a pain in the butt. It really causes emotional heartache. But we can overcome it, especially if we know that's what's going to happen. When you need to start to focus in on that more light aspect. If someone says something or sends an email, don't jump off and say, oh my God, they just insulted me, or take it in an offense. Take it from a space of light and love so that you can evolve, the situation. Check in with them using that balance and justice. Oh, is this what you meant? Sorry, I might be reading this wrong. Those type of things. Check in, verify. Have some fun over the next 3 weeks. You're going to need to have play so that you can get out of your head. Too much in our head and we can start to have things swirl. We can't critically think if we're overthinking things. All right, let's look at what your shadow self wants to add. The Knight of Pentacles. Knights are that adolescent. It's the big brother or sister to the page. Knights are not afraid of anything. They're that go big or go home, no fear energy of an adolescent. The Pentacles are all about that growth and abundance. The Knight of Pentacles is not afraid of hard work. Additionally, is not afraid. That's going to be an important piece. This is going to be some work on your part, but you have to have that adolescent behavior of, yep, I'm not afraid to die, this is not going to touch me attitude, because it won't. When you come from a place of light and love, that is what you're going to put out into the universe. You will get it back. All right, let's look at a blessing. What blessing do my Virgo friends have for the Mercury retrograde? It's the delicate fairy and her ferrets. Change is natural, good, and yes, it might hurt. It's very appropriate, actually. Some of this, like I said, can be a bit of a hardship. And some of this will change. It'll change the way you're going to focus on things, especially over the next 3 weeks. But change is good. This will help get you to think outside that box. It'll help access different aspects of your life that you hadn't quite anticipated. And that's a good part of what Mercury retrograde brings us. For those who wish, you can pause the video here and reflect on the cards. This is a group reading, however, I drew these cards especially for my Virgo friends. What further information do the cards hold for you? If you're looking for a more personal or specific reading, you can follow the link below and schedule a private reading with myself. For those who are interested, I will be running online introductory and interactive classes on Zoom over the next couple of months. My first class is Introduction to Angels and Archangels. That's on November 11th. Then on December 9th, I'll be running my Introductions to Connecting or Channelings class. If you're interested in both or either of these classes, you can find out more information and register on my website. I provided a link below to my classes page where you can go there directly and check things out. I hope you found this video fun and helpful and that you were able to get some direction and insight into what to expect from Mercury retrograde. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today and watching this video. I'll continue to create fun and dynamic videos for my zodiac friends. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below. I'm always up for feedback from my friends. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for the latest content. You never know where I'm going to go next, and I'd hate for you to miss a video. Also, if you like this video and want to support me in making more, I have a Patreon page with many tiers and lots of perks. In some of my tiers, the perks are private readings with myself. I provided a helpful link below, so why not go check it out. Until tomorrow, my Virgo friends.